Alrighty. We're back at it. Ooh. Good evening, Russ. I wasn't going to go live, but I'm like, why not? Haven't done it in a while. Hey, Charlie! Yes, Charles. This is a pattern by Charles Deering. Go check his website out. It's woodenvisions.com, right? I have a whole bunch of Charles's patterns, and one day I'll get around to cutting them all. Might take me a whole lifetime. Hey, what's up, Vinny? Matt, good evening. Let's start with these little ones. I like to hit the little spots just because this type of pattern has a lot of detail, and all these thin pieces I don't like to cut later. What's happening, John? Dave? What's happening? It's been about a week since I was on this saw. I have a very large logo that I'm doing for someone, and it's a secret, so I can't scroll it live. But as soon as it's done being cut, it will be up on the tubes, or the grams, or the, I don't even know what else they're called. Four sheets of paper to make. Oof. I don't know if I want to cut that one, Charles. This is for a customer. Well, she's a close friend of ours. But I've been busy doing some house things. We're refinishing our dining room set. So we were sanding that down last weekend, and then the rain came in. And then I've been cutting these, or 3D printing these shields, or the visors to attach the shield, the plastic shields to, and some ear extenders. So I had some issues with the 3D printer. That's all resolved. So I'll be back out in the shop tomorrow. We're going to be out in front lawn, well, not front lawn, in the driveway. Whoops. Painting. I'm gonna finally get to use my what is it called? Not my Wagner. It's one of those big industrial size paint sprayers. Watco, maybe? I don't remember. So that's gonna come in handy. Painting a dining room set. How's everybody else doing with this pandemic going on? Hopefully everybody's safe and healthy and home. And if you're an essential worker, thank you very much for everything you're doing. Crazy times we're in right now. No, Charles, it's not a Wagner. It's the big one, isn't it? Watco? No, Watco's the. Never mind. Watco's the other thing. Graco, I think it is. The big blue one. Watco is the. The finish. Well, you're lucky, Charles. Don't go out. I go out to go get food, and I come back home. So this is a 2-aught spiral, Neequa 2-aught spiral. I'm cutting, what is this, a 1/4-inch birch. Patterns designed by the one and only Charles Deering. Scroll saw is Pegasus. Links in the description for all the tools. Charles, I'll add yours. It was last minute decision to go live, so I'll add that. The link. anybody has any questions, just type them in the chat, and I will get around to answering it as soon as I have to change holes. The cool thing with the spiral blades is if you don't get all the way to the line the first time, you come back and sand it a little bit. Get to the line. Yeah, every time I go to Home Depot, well, I do go to Home Depot. Thanks, Matt. I do go to Home Depot often, not as often as I usually do, but yeah, it's usually crowded as far as the line outside. One in, one out. Well, once they hit a max of the amount of people they need, they can hit. Since they lessen their hours, I try and hit there about 5-ish, because 6 o'clock they close and they don't want a line of people outside, so they just let a lot more people in. Or there's just a lot less people going there 5:30 in the evening. Hey, Mike, what's happening? John, I think I said hello to you. Leonard, good evening. So I just made a beer tote for my niece's boyfriend for his 21st birthday the other day. So there's going to be a video soon on YouTube. I'll have plans, and there'll probably be free plans on it. And then I have a birdhouse I'm going to be doing. And the same thing with that. Be free plans. I don't know how many holes this was because I was just drilling real quick. And some of you may hear me talking to other folks. I am streaming this from one program to multiple platforms, and as they come up, I could see it on my screen. You might not be able to see it on yours. So You're not missing anything. It's just a different different platform it's being played on. They're commenting from. So. Don't know how long I'm going to be doing this tonight. My wife and I, we've been watching Ozark. So as soon as the kids go to bed, we pop it on and watch 2 or 3 episodes a night. Try and get it done, but we'll see what happens. It's 10.5. I think it's 10.5 by 13, and then once I put the frame around it, I think I'm going to do like a 1/2 inch or 5/8 inch, and then bring the border in a little bit. But that's tomorrow. The pattern itself, I believe, is 10.5 by 13. It's a little smaller than I normally do, but good evening, Mac. How are you this fine evening? It's actually turned out to be a nice day today. Started off crummy and sun came out. Alrighty. So where are you all located? I am in Jersey, Central Jersey. Indiana. Oh, I guess I could have guessed that, right? Hoosier. Isn't that the school, right? Did they make a movie? Who was in that? Denzel Washington or no? What was that? The other dude, Gene Hackman. Wasn't he in Hoosier? Hoosiers. I don't even know how to say it. Yeah, Tommy. Tommy, you know, I like to do this. I wish I learned it a lot sooner. We did not have scroll saw in woodshop in high school. We had everything else. Well, no CNCs either, but pretty much everything else we had in high school. So that's where whoops, in the wrong hole there. Come on. That's where I learned most of my woodworking. Is high school, and then just picked up things as life went on. But I think it was about 4 years ago, I picked up, when I worked in Kmart, they had a going out of business sale, and I bought a benchtop brand scroll saw. And I'm like, oh, I can use this one day. I didn't even know what it was. Just I knew it was a tool, and it was dirt cheap. So I bought it, and it sat underneath my bench for, must have been 10 years almost. Because when one Mother's Day, I broke it out and had at the time we only had 3 children. I said, oh, we can make mommy a cool Mother's Day gift and cut all your hand prints out, or hand silhouettes, I don't know what you want to call it. So I broke it out, and it was a pinned scroll saw, which I didn't know anything about anything. So luckily it came with some blades, and we cut it. And it is the ugliest looking thing in the world. It's still sitting on our shelf in the living room. I think this year we're gonna have to do a revised version. add McKenna into there. But that was the first one I did, and I think it was like just about the time I started doing some YouTube stuff and talking to people, and I met Charles Deering in Atlanta for a woodworking show, and I saw his horse head that he cut. And anybody knows Charles, crazy detail, and it just looked amazing. I think he painted it, and I'm like, whoa! I said, I want to do that. So I found I used DeWalt cabinet guy had it. He used it to cut a couple of crown molding pieces in the shop, or had a job, didn't use it anymore. So all right, cool. So I got a flat blade, not knowing any better, and I cut Charles's horse head. And the first time I cut it for my father-in-law for his birthday. And holy cow, it took me 12 plus hours to cut that head. And I think right then and there I was hooked. It took 12 hours and I was hooked. It's a little odd, isn't it? But that's when I really started liking doing it. And then Charles said, why don't you try a spiral blade? Sure, why not? And since that day, I've used nothing but spirals for patterns, pretty much interior designs, anything perimeter or words. I'll use a Pegasus #3 modified geometry. And that's pretty much my two go-to blades. I can tell you the second time I cut it and third time I cut it, I did those horse heads in 6 hours or under. And I did cut out every single line. I tell Charles, if he draws it, he takes the time to draw it, I'm going to take the time to cut it. So all right, sorry about that. What's up, Lawrence? So that is the story behind me scroll sawing and spiral blades. Now, I will use a flat blade like on that sign I'm making. I am using a flat blade because it's kind of like Intarsia, but not. It's all pieces that I'm cutting out and then piecing back together after it's all painted. So I don't know what you would call that. Abstract? I don't know. I don't know what dictates Intarsia. Hey Steve, what's happening? Yeah, Tommy, it's kind of hard to use a flat blade if it's. This is only 21 inches, and so is the DeWalt that I had, and I did a 4-foot piece one day, and there's no way you're doing that with a flat blade. So I tend to go on the larger side of patterns being cut. So, and I love this saw too. I'm not getting rid of the other scroll saw because I think one of my daughters, or both of my daughters, my oldest daughter, and then my middle daughter, both like cutting. So I think I'll give that to them. I got to tune it up a little bit, but that shouldn't be so hard. That'll be theirs, and this will be mine. They'll be out here cutting more often. Whether it be live or doing a video or two with me. And I used to be a bottom feeder. And then I had a project, I forget what project it was. I couldn't, it was just too hard to keep getting it through the bottom. So I'm like, I'll try the top. And now with this type of head, it's a lot easier to be a top feeder than a bottom feeder. Tommy, how long have you had your Pegasus scroll saw? Lucy drawing tool? What's a Lucy drawing tool? I missed something? Is that to make patterns? I was thinking about getting into making patterns, but it's just too much time for me. Maybe if the girls get good enough that they can cut my orders, maybe I'll take a crack at it again. But Charles has sat down with me multiple times to try to explain. Anybody else out there have a scroll saw? If so, what type? And if not, plan on getting one. Whoops. Oh, I got you. Lawrence, what I have is, it's called Big Print. Matthias Wandel in Canada. That's a program he designed. I think it's like $21, and it like, this is 4 pieces of paper, 8.5 by 11, and then it leaves a little space between, and then you just cut one side, and then you line it up, tape it down, or I usually tape it, but you can, I guess you can like use a glue stick to glue them together. And for $21, it's worth a try, and I've had nothing but success with blow-ups. So. Blowing things up. I've done a 4-foot piece. The logo I'm doing right now is 3 feet in diameter. That I think was 21 pages. But now, is that Lawrence, is that Delta the same body style as the DeWalt? I I know there's two different deltas. I forget the numbers. Yeah, they're the same company. I found that out years ago when I had a 18 volt Black & Decker grill, and the charger died. Charger? Yeah, I think it was the charger died. It was its battery. I don't remember. One or the other. And I was looking all over for it. Discontinued, not made anymore. And it was like, oh, let's take it to Walt. Instead of Black & Decker. Well, it's the same company. Kind of like, was it Lexus and Toyota and Infiniti and Nissan? Same company, different branding. And I am in no way a pro at this. I'm still learning different techniques and I very rarely change bleeds unless they break or I can really tell that they're not cutting anything. Yeah, if it's the same body style, like with the two rockers there. Matt Hotz has a great video taking apart his DeWalt. Awesome Wood Things is his channel. Check him out. He went through taking it apart, greasing it. He painted his, like, well, not like I painted mine. He painted his, I think, a Van Halen. Was it Van Halen colors or that design? I don't remember. Mine is orange. Nothing against the yellow. I like orange. And they do not usually like any post that I've done. So when it was yellow, so I said, okay, I'm going to change it to orange. That was a joke. I just say it's a rigid scroll saw. And no, rigid doesn't make a scroll saw. That's why it's funny. Yeah, Van Halen. That's what I thought it was. I was never into, well, to my knowledge, I was never into rock. I guess you call that rock, heavy metal. I don't even know what you call it. But until nowadays, when some of those songs come on, I like to listen to them. I'm like, wait. Not much music that I don't like. And the other good thing about a spiral blade is you can touch the blade and it doesn't cut your fingers up. Not that I do it often on purpose. Here we go. But you can touch the blade and it won't cut you. Unless you like really jam your finger in there, it'll cut you enough to bleed, but it won't do any. Well, really can't tell the difference because once I get the big sections start cutting, then it'll look a lot better. Good evening, Chris. All right. Oops. Gotta tighten that a little bit. So cut these 4, 5, 6, and then come back. Yeah, it's Friday night. People want to relax, I guess. Oops. As long as you're still here, Lawrence, I'm okay. I see some people just hang out sometimes and just watch. They don't comment, which is fine. Yeah, Lawrence said, you know, they were very sharp and they cut very well. Just don't bend them. They don't. Not that anybody bends them on purpose, but I don't have them over here. They're over in the corner. But as you could see on the Daniqua blades, you can not bend it in half, but you can give it a little bit of a curl. See. And it broke. I guess because it's not a new blade. It's been used, but you can do that on the Daniquas. You could give it a little bit of a bend, like a loop, and they won't snap. The Pegas, they're, I don't know if it's how they, sorry. I don't know if it's how they make the blade so sharp that they, you know, gives it a little less durability as far as if you did that to a Pegas, it would snap. But you put it in, it's going to cut like butter. I do use them. I got so used to using the Daniquas, or some folks know it as a Flying Dutchman. So if I do a lot of detail, I'm not a slow guy. So when I have to do very fine detail, I use the Daniquas because it's not going to cut as fast. It gives me a little bit of play as far as movement. For thicker materials, I'll definitely go with the Pegas, just because it'll hog out. Oh, the chuck heads? Oh, these? Yeah. Yeah, I put them on my DeWalt and night and day. I don't know anything about vibration. Steve Good did a video. I believe them. It's less vibration, but I don't know. I can't tell that. Like I say, I'm a movie scroller and an amateur at that. try not to have, when I have real tight lines, I try not to pop the piece out just because I don't want it to snap. Snap a piece. Let's do this. Oh, I don't think I'm going to be done by 10, but another 8 minutes we'll end this and finish it up tomorrow. Got a leg cramp for a second there. Leg cramp in my pedal foot. It's coming back again. All right, I'm going to have to cut this video a little short. This cramp in my leg is not letting go. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the finished product tomorrow.